All right, you bastards, buckle up for another deep dive. You've been swimming in Mariana Trench bullshit lately, and let's be real, that shit can get dense as fuck.
Dense, yeah.
But fear not, my intrepid knowledge junkie.
The intrepid, that's us.
We're about to plunge headfirst into that watery abyss and dredge up the good stuff.
That's right. No need for a fancy submersible or a PhD in marine biology. We'll navigate this shitstorm of information together, and by the end of this deep dive,
I like it.
you'll be the reigning champion of Mariana Trench trivia at your next bar night.
Okay, let's cut the crap. This trench is basically a giant underwater banana, right?
Yeah.
And I mean a seriously fucked up gargantuan banana. Am I right?
The banana analogy isn't that far off, actually.
Literally.
Yeah, this thing stretches for over 2,550 kilometers, which is longer than the entire goddamn west coast of the U.S.
Oh, shit.
And it's about 69 kilometers wide at its widest point. To put that in perspective, you could shove the entire island of Manhattan in there sideways and still have room for a few Starbucks.
Holy shit. That's a big-ass banana.
It's a big one.
But how deep does this rabbit hole actually go? What's the damage in meters?
Buckle up, Buttercup. The deepest point, known as the Challenger Deep, plunges down a mind-blowing 10,984 meters.
Get the fuck out.
That's like stacking 25 Empire State Buildings on top of each other and then yeeting them into the ocean. Everest. Bitch, please.
Bitch, please.
This is the real OG of verticality.
Jesus Christ, you're telling me there's a place on this planet that's deeper than Mount Everest is tall.
Oh, yeah.
That's some fucked up shit right there. Okay, so imagine my dumb ass down there.
Oh.
What kind of pressure are we talking about? It's enough to turn me into human pate.
More like a human juice box.
A juice box?
The pressure at the bottom of the Mariana Trench is around a 1,086 bar, which is over 1,000 times the pressure at sea level. That's like having 15,000 pounds of force pressing down on every square inch of your body.
Jesus.
You'd be a meat crayon before you could even scream, fuck.
So a wetsuit ain't gonna cut it.
No!
But humans are stubborn little shits, right?
We are.
We can't resist poking our noses into every goddamn crevice of the planet, even if it wants to crush us like a bug.
That's our MO.
So how the hell did we even start exploring this watery abyss? Did we just chuck a dude with a really long rope overboard and hope for the best?
Well, the first attempt to plumb the depths of the Mariana Trench was back in 1875 during the Challenger expedition. And you're not far off with the rope analogy.
Oh, really?
They basically used a weighted rope, a glorified plumb bob, really, just to get a rough estimate of the depth.
Seriously, a fucking rope. Talk about old school.
Pretty old school.
But hey, I guess you gotta start somewhere. Did they even get a remotely accurate reading with that shit?
Surprisingly, they recorded a depth of 8,184 meters.
Oh, wow.
Which, while not perfect, was pretty damn impressive for the time.
For the time, yeah.
Then, in 1899, the USS Nero rolled up and claimed to have measured a depth of 9,636 meters. But honestly, who knows how accurate that was? It's like they just threw a really long tape measure down there and called it a day.
Classic.
Yep.
So when did things start getting a little more high-tech?
Yeah.
When did we stop fecking around with ropes and get some real data?
The real breakthrough came in 1951 with the Challenger 2 expedition. They used this badass technology called echo sounding, which is basically bouncing sound waves off the ocean floor to measure depth.
Oh, sonar.
Yeah, like sonar. And this gave them a much more accurate reading of the Challenger Deep, clocking it in at 10,900 meters.
Ah, the wonders of sonar.
Pretty cool, huh?
So we went from a glorified fishing weight to bouncing sound waves off the bottom of the ocean. Not bad for a few decades of progress.
We made some progress.
But this is the 50s, right?
Yeah.
Surely we've sent some badass robots down there since then.
Oh, we absolutely have. In 1995, the Japanese ROV, Kaiko, that's a remotely operated vehicle for you landlubbers.
Landlubber. He called me a landlubber.
Reached the deepest part of the trench and set a new diving record.
No shit.
And then, hold on to your hats. In 2012, James Cameron, the dude who directed Titanic and Avatar,
No way.
decided to take a break from making blockbuster movies and descended into the Challenger Deep himself in a submersible called Deep Sea Challenger.
Wait, James Cameron, the I'm king of the world guy.
The one and only.
He actually went down there. That's fucking balls out.
Right. The dude is a certified badass.
A badass.
And his dive provided a ton of valuable scientific data and some truly stunning footage of the trench's environment.
So what did they actually find down there? Besides crushing pressure and James Cameron's massive steel balls? I mean, I'm assuming it's not exactly a tropical paradise.
Not exactly a tropical paradise, no.
Okay, good, yeah.
But a 2011 survey mapped the entire trench in high resolution and discovered 4 rocky outcrops.
Outcrops.
Scientists think these were once seamounts, basically underwater mountains.
Underwater mountains.
That got sucked into the trench.
That got sucked in.
Then in 2012, a seismic survey mapped structures a mind-blowing 97 kilometers beneath the surface.
Hold the fucking phone. 97 kilometers.
97 kilometers.
It's deeper than anything.
Deeper than anything.
But let's get to the juicy stuff. Is there anything actually living down there? Or is it just a watery graveyard of crushed dreams and unfortunate sea creatures?
Get ready to have your mind blown because the Mariana Trench is teeming with life. Now, back in 1960, Jacques Piccard, the dude who first went down in the Bathyscaphe Trieste,
The Bathyscaphe. Nice.
claimed to have seen a flatfish down there.
No.
But most scientists think he probably just saw a sea cucumber and got a little excited.
He was probably a little high on something down there.
Probably.
So what about actual confirmed life forms? Spill the beans, expert dude. What kind of freaky shit calls this godforsaken place home?
Well, the Caicos mud samples turned out to be teeming with tiny organisms.
Teeming.
And in 2011, researchers discovered giant single-celled organisms called foraminiferans.
Foraminiferans. The fuck are those?
These things can grow to be over 10 centimeters in diameter, bigger than a goddamn baseball.
No way. Giant single-celled blobs. What the fuck?
You said it.
Biology just took a turn for the weird.
It did.
And that's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning.
Hold up, there are fish down there. Fish that can withstand that kind of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
What do these things look like? Are they all fucked up and mutated?
They're definitely adapted to their extreme environment. One of the most fascinating examples is the supergent amphipod.
Supergent amphipod.
Wow.
What the hell is that? Sounds like something straight out of a Lovecraftian nightmare.
Feel them like a giant, creepy, crawly crustacean, kind of like a pill bug, but way bigger.
A bug.
They can grow to over 30 centimeters long.
30 centimeters? Holy shit. That's like a foot-long cockroach from hell.
It's pretty big.
Why the fuck are things so goddamn big down there?
Yeah, deep-sea gigantism is a real thing. Scientists aren't entirely sure why creatures in the deep tend to grow so large, but it might have something to do with the cold temperatures,
Yeah,
limited food sources,
it makes sense.
and the need to conserve energy.
So basically, it's a survival tactic. Grow big or get the fuck out. But still, that's some freaky deaky shit.
Freaky deaky.
So we've got giant amoebas, deep-sea fish that look like they crawled out of a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Guillermo del Toro. Love him.
Anything else down there that's going to fuel my nightmares?
Oh, you bet you asked. There is.
Yep.
But before we delve into the truly terrifying stuff, let's talk about something a little closer to home. Pollution.
Wait, you're telling me that even this remote, godforsaken place is polluted?
Sadly, yes.
We've managed to fuck up even the deepest parts of the ocean.
It seems so.
Seriously.
In 2016, researchers found ridiculously high concentrations of PCBs,
PCBs.
a nasty and banned chemical toxin at all depths of the trench. These toxins were concentrated in the sediment, and the crustaceans living there had absorbed them into their bodies.
That is so fucked up. I knew humans were assholes. But this is a whole new level of assholery.
Agreed.
And I bet that's not the only crap we've dumped down there.
You're right. Amphipods, those giant pill bug things we talked about?
The giant pill bugs.
They've been found to have microplastics in their stomachs. Like 100% of them had at least one piece of plastic inside them.
No fucking way. Even the giant roaches in the deep are eating our trash. This is depressing.
It gets worse. In 2019, Victor Vescovo, the guy who made multiple dives to the Challenger Deep, reported finding a plastic bag and candy wrappers at the bottom of the trench.
You're shitting me. Candy wrappers. What the fuck is wrong with people? We're actively trying to turn the planet into a giant garbage dump.
It's a stark reminder that even the most remote and seemingly untouched places on Earth are feeling the impact of human activity.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Well, this took a dark turn. I need a fucking drink.
Don't we all? But before we drown our sorrows, let's not forget that even with all the bad news, the Mariana Trench is still one of the most fascinating and mysterious places on Earth.
I'll drink to that.
There's still so much we don't know about it.
True that. All right, let's take a break from this existential dread and come back to this craziness in a few. I need to process the fact that there are foot-long roaches chilling at the bottom of the ocean, munching on our discarded Snickers wrappers.
What long roaches?
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
We'll be back after this short break.
See you soon. So you're telling me there are giant mutated roaches eating our garbage at the bottom of the ocean? Anything else down there that wants to kill us? Or make us wish we were dead.
I mean, it wouldn't be a proper deep dive into human fuckery without mentioning nuclear waste, right? So don't tell me some asshat actually thought it was a good idea to dump that shit into the Mariana Trench.
You'd be surprised some brilliant minds actually proposed using the trench as a nuclear waste dump back in the day.
Seriously.
The idea was that the tectonic plates, those giant slabs of rock that make up the Earth's crust, would eventually push the waste deep into the Earth's mantle where it would, magically disappear.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, because hiding radioactive garbage under a tectonic rug sounds like a foolproof plan. What a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong, right?
It does sound pretty ridiculous in hindsight. Thankfully, international law now prohibits dumping nuclear waste into the ocean.
Thank God.
The last thing we need is a radioactive Godzilla rising from the depths to punish us for our stupidity.
Amen to that. So we've got giant mutated creatures, crushing pressure, toxic waste. Anything else I should add to my list of reasons to never ever go down there? Because right now I'm thinking a trip to the dentist sounds more appealing.
Well, there's always the risk of encountering something completely unknown. Remember, we've only explored a tiny fraction of the Mariana Trench. Who knows what kind of Lovecraftian horrors are lurking in the shadows, just waiting to drag us down to a watery grave?
Oh, come on. You're really laying it on thick today, aren't you? But seriously, what are the chances of actually finding something groundbreaking down there? Something that makes those giant amphipods look like harmless little shrimps?
The deep sea is one of the most unexplored environments on Earth.
True.
It's like another planet down there, full of bizarre and fascinating creatures. And the Mariana Trench, with its unique conditions, is a prime spot for discovering new and potentially groundbreaking life forms.
Okay, now you're talking my language. Imagine finding some crazy-ass creature that rewrites the textbooks on biology. Something that makes the supergent amphipod look like a cuddly little kitten. Now that's something I can get behind.
Exactly. It's the thrill of the unknown that makes exploring the Mariana Trench so compelling. Every dive could potentially lead to a groundbreaking discovery.
All right, you've convinced me. I'm officially adding discover a new species in the Mariana Trench to my bucket list right after win the lottery and learn to play the banjo. But let's get back to the facts. You mentioned that the trench is part of the subduction zone, right?
Yeah.
For those of us who didn't spend our childhood memorizing geology textbooks, what the hell does that even mean?
So picture the Earth's crust as a giant jigsaw puzzle made up of these massive plates. These plates are constantly moving, bumping into each other, sliding under each other, causing all sorts of chaos.
Including chaos.
In a subduction zone, one plate is forced under another, creating a trench like the Mariana.
So the Pacific Plate is basically getting swallowed up by the Mariana Plate.
Exactly.
Sounds like a slow-motion geological massacre.
It is a violent process in a geological sense,
Yeah.
and all that activity makes the Mariana Trench a dynamic and volatile place. It's also responsible for the volcanic activity that created the nearby Mariana Islands.
So it's a hotbed of geological and biological weirdness. The Mariana Trench is basically the poster child for nature is fucking metal. But hold on, if the plates are constantly moving, doesn't that mean the trench is constantly changing?
Absolutely. The trench is slowly but surely getting deeper as the Pacific Plate continues to slide beneath the Mariana Plate. It's estimated that the trench is deepening at a rate of about 1 centimeter per year.
1 centimeter a year. That's like watching paint dry.
It might not seem like a lot, but over millions of years, those centimeters add up. And all that shifting and grinding creates enormous amounts of pressure and heat, which have a huge impact on the environment and the life that exists down there.
So the Mariana Trench is basically a giant slow-motion demolition derby, and the creatures living there are just along for the ride.
Pretty much.
They've adapted to survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, and they're still evolving and changing as the trench itself changes.
It's pretty amazing.
I'm starting to think these deep-sea creatures are tougher than I am. I mean, can you imagine living in a place where the pressure could crush you like a grape,
Yeah.
and the ground beneath you is constantly shifting?
It's mind-boggling, isn't it? And they've not only adapted, they've thrived. And who knows?
Right.
Maybe there are even weirder and more resilient creatures lurking even deeper, just waiting to be discovered.
Man, I'm starting to feel a bit inadequate. Here I am struggling to pay my rent and figure out what to have for dinner,
The struggle is real.
while these deep-sea badasses are just chilling in the abyss, defying all known laws of biology and physics.
That's the beauty of nature, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's full of surprises and humbling reminders of how little we actually know.
you're right. Okay, so what about the future of Mariana Trench exploration? What are scientists hoping to find next? Another plastic bag? Maybe a whole landfill? Hopefully not another nuclear waste dump.
Sadly, plastic pollution is a growing concern in all parts of the ocean, including the Mariana Trench.
Yeah,
But researchers are working hard to understand the full extent of the problem and develop solutions to mitigate the damage.
that's good.
It's a big problem.
But what about new discoveries? Are there any upcoming missions planned?
Oh, yeah.
I need something to restore my faith in humanity after all this talk about pollution and nuclear waste.
There are always new expeditions being planned.
Huh.
The technology for exploring the deep sea is constantly improving, which means we're able to dive deeper and stay down longer. We're only just beginning to scratch the surface of what's down there.
So we're basically just scratching the surface of what's down there.
Yeah.
And who knows what kind of mind-blowing discoveries await us in the future.
I know.
Maybe we'll find a new species of giant intelligent squid can teach us how to clean up our plastic mess.
Maybe.
A guy can dream, right?
Guy can dream. The Mariana Trench is a treasure trove of scientific potential, and I have no doubt that it will continue to amaze and challenge our understanding of the natural world for generations to come.
All right, feeling a bit more optimistic now.
Yeah.
On that note, let's wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today. Giant creatures, crushing pressure, pollution, the geological history of the trench. What's the main takeaway here? What should our listeners be pondering as they go about their day, besides the existential dread of knowing giant plastic-eating roaches exist?
I think the biggest takeaway is that even the most remote and seemingly inhospitable places on Earth are connected to us and are impacted by our actions. The Mariana Trench is a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of all life on this planet and the responsibility we have to protect it. Okay, so we've talked about all the freaky shit living in the Mariana Trench, the insane pressure, the pollution, the near-death experience of becoming a nuclear waste dump. But how the hell did this thing even form in the first place?
Yeah, how this massive underwater crack in the Earth's crust even happened. We skimmed over the whole subduction zone thing, but let's get into the nitty-gritty. Give me the geological backstory, but in layman's terms, for those of us who barely passed high school earth science.
All right, so picture this. Millions of years ago, the Pacific Plate, this massive chunk of the Earth's crust, decided to get up close and personal with the Mariana Plate.
Oh, this is going to be good.
The Pacific Plate, being older and denser, think of it like a grumpy old man who's been around the block a few times, started sinking beneath the Mariana Plate. This process, called subduction, is happening all over the planet, creating trenches, volcanoes, earthquakes, all that fun stuff.
So basically, the Earth is just a giant slow-motion mosh pit of tectonic plates, constantly grinding and smashing into each other.
Pretty much. And the Mariana Trench is one of the most dramatic scars left behind by this epic geological battle royale.
Damn, nature is a badass. But why is the Mariana Trench so much deeper than other trenches? Is it just a coincidence, or is there something special about this particular spot that makes it the king of underwater canyons?
It's a combination of factors. One is the age of the Pacific Plate. Remember, the older the oceanic crust, the denser it is, which means it sinks faster and deeper. The Pacific Plate is some of the oldest oceanic crust on Earth, so it's had plenty of time to really shove itself under the Mariana Plate.
So it's like an ancient, crusty old dude trying to cram himself under a table that's way too small for him. Not pretty, but definitely effective. What else makes the Mariana Trench so special? Why is it the Grand Canyon of the ocean?
The location of the trench plays a role too. It's situated in a very active tectonic zone, which means there's a lot of movement and pressure in the area. This constant pushing and pulling has helped to sculpt the trench into the incredibly deep and dramatic feature it is today.
Okay, so it's a perfect storm of geological factors. Old crust, active tectonic zone. Anything else? Or are we done nerding out on rocks for now?
Just one more thing. The shape of the trench itself also contributes to its depth. It's not just a straight line, it's curved like a crescent moon, which focuses the pressure and creates a deeper point in the center.
Ah, so it's like a giant underwater funnel. All that pressure gets concentrated in the Challenger Deep. Makes sense. All right, I think I've officially reached my capacity for geological knowledge for one day. Let's switch gears and talk about something a little more fun. What about the future of Mariana Trench exploration? Any cool new tech on the horizon? Besides, a giant robot that can collect all the plastic we've dumped down there.
Definitely. Scientists are always developing new and more sophisticated ways to explore the deep sea. For example, there are autonomous underwater vehicles, or AUVs, that can map the seafloor in incredible detail. And then there are remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, that can collect samples and take close-up footage of deep-sea creatures.
So we're basically sending robot spies down there to do our dirty work. Sounds like a solid plan.
They are pretty good at it.
Less risk of getting crushed like a grape.
What about human exploration? Any chance of regular schmucks like me ever getting to experience the wonders of the Mariana Trench firsthand?
Well, commercially available submersibles are becoming more common, but diving to the Challenger Deep is still an incredibly expensive and risky endeavor. It requires specialized equipment, a highly skilled crew, and, well, a healthy dose of balls the size of Jupiter.
Okay, so maybe I'll stick to watching documentaries for now. But who knows, maybe one day space tourism will be so passé that deep-sea tourism will be the next big thing. Hey, honey, want to take a submarine ride down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench? It'll be romantic. Stranger things have happened. There's definitely something alluring about exploring the unknown, whether it's the vastness of space or the depths of the ocean. Human curiosity is a powerful force.
You're telling me. Well, folks, that about wraps up our deep dive into the Mariana Trench. Hope you didn't get too claustrophobic down there.
It was a fun dive.
We've seen some seriously mind-blowing shit. From giant mutated creatures to crushing pressure and our own depressing legacy of pollution. It's a wild world down there, and we're only just beginning to scratch the surface of what's really going on. And hey, who knows what we'll discover next? Maybe a new species of giant intelligent squid that can teach us how to clean up our plastic mess. A guy can dream, right? But in all seriousness, the Mariana Trench is a powerful reminder that even the most remote and seemingly inhospitable places on Earth are connected to us and are impacted by our actions. So next time you're about to toss that plastic bottle on the ground, think of those giant amphipods munching on candy wrappers at the bottom of the ocean and maybe, just maybe, reconsider. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and don't forget to breathe. Peace out.